Hey guys, in this post I'm going to be talking about the case trimmer that I decided to purchase, how to use it, and how to trim your brass. This particular task, along with many others in the hand loading process, for me required a lot of time researching what would fit my needs the best. When I started researching case trimmers, I found there were three basic types of trimmers. Manual, like the one that you see in the video right now. Manual with the ability to hook up a power source to it, such as a power drill, to transform it into a quasi-automatic trimmer, which I like to call it. And then fully automatic trimmers, which have the motor and are all self-contained. What I really wanted was a manual trimmer that had the ability to use a power drill, but based on YouTube and Amazon reviews for those particular models, I didn't like the way the design was, and how the trimmer held the brass into the device. And I just didn't like it. I didn't feel that it was good enough, and I kind of felt like it was subpar. So what I ended up going with was the case trimmer by Forester Products. The model is called Original Case Trimmer. Like I said, cost and quality are the drivers behind this purchase. When you watch this video, you'll see it's a solid design compared to some of the other ones that you may or may not have looked at on YouTube or the internet or whatever. So this particular model comes with exactly what you see in the video here, just the base, or it comes with a whole kit. So the kit comes with the collets for the most popular calibers, and then these pilots here. And so if you have the kit, you get a bunch of these collets and you get a bunch of pilots. If you don't have the kit, you get the unit minus the collets and the pilots, and you have to buy those separate. So this video series is around reloading 223556. So in the case of 223556, the collet that you want is a number 1, and you can see on these collets, I'm not going to readjust the camera, but I guess I will. Oh, I guess I can't. There's a number 1 stamped on there. And you can see that the inside of that number 1 is machined out for multiple calibers. Same goes for the pilot. This pilot here that goes in, there is a number on that, but as you can see, there is a set screw there. You loosen that set screw and that pilot pulls right out, and the number's on there. I'm not going to pull it out, but you get the point. The way this thing works, which I had a little bit of a hard time trying to figure out how the thing went together, and the first time I used it, because it was my first case trimmer and I've never used another case trimmer before, so I didn't really know the the design and how they worked. So the way this thing works is you get this end piece here, you throw your collet in, run that in, tightening it all the way will compress that, squeezing it against your case, which this is the piece that I really liked because it applied pressure from all around it. Some of the other case trimmers did not work this way, or did not work that way. So, run that in. And what I like to do, this is set up for 30-06. But I like to run this in so the pilot's kind of half-ass in there, and then tighten it. Which I'll show you in a few minutes. But for the purposes of demonstrating this, the way the camera's set up, I'm not gonna do that. Set screw for the pilot. This pilot is probably 30 cal, probably will not fit in there. And then over here is where your adjustments are, your main adjustments. So you have, and this is the reason why I was confused, I totally overlooked this. In the manual sucks too, by the way, for this, so they could do a better job in the manual. And also, by the way, I was so excited when I got this in the mail, I just screwed it right onto my bench. I would not have, I'm gonna in the future take this off, put it on a board, and then C-clamp my board to my bench. It'd be a lot better than this. That way it's not all the way here, and I won't take a chance of hitting something and tweaking it and not knowing, and then the thing gets screwed up. But still think I'm a dumbass for dialing the thing down right on my bench. Okay, back to the adjustments. Set screw here. Set screw on this side. The set screw on this side is just a set screw that goes in and puts pressure on this piece of metal here. I'll call this the rough adjustment. So you put your brass in. If this is loose, you run it all the way in. So roughly what you want your overall, not overall length, but the length of your brass to be. And then run it all the way in, and you tighten it. I guess you don't run it all the way in. You want to run it out some, tighten it down, and then the minor adjustment on the other side, this set screw does not go into this bar here. This set screw goes into another set screw, which you can't see in the video, but right there. So there's a set screw right there. That set screw runs against this. And this would, I'm going to call this the minor adjustment. This set screw you want to run in as far as you can. So it's out about, say, that far. So when you run this thing, it's going to trim it too long. And then you want to move the set screw out toward the handle, which will bring the cutters in. And you do that in small increments until you get the brass down to the length that you want. So it's kind of hard to explain without actually doing it. And I can't actually do it with the camera set up the way it is right now. So I am going to readjust the camera, and when I come back, I'm going to show you the whole process again. Hopefully it'll be a little bit less confusing than what I just explained. So we'll see you in a second. Alright guys, I'm back. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to adjust this and this case trimmer, and I'm going to trim a couple pieces of brass here, whatever, 6-8 pieces, and I'll show you how this process works. So I'm not going to mess with this. I already showed you how this works. The pilot that's in there, I already changed out. You can see it fits. So the only thing I need to mess with here is this black, I wouldn't call it a washer, but a guide, I guess, or whatever. So you can see this set screw that I was telling you earlier. This is the set screw to, only one set screw breaks this loose. That was the rough adjustment. So what I'm going to do is throw a piece 223 in. can. And I am going to, first I'm going to undo the second set screw, or loosen the second set screw, which is the minor adjustment, and actually run this forward. So I ran this set screw forward, I don't know, about 6 or so turns, roughly. Tighten that up, not a ton, but enough so it isn't going to move. And then I'm going to tighten up the major adjustment. I'm going to do that one kind of tight. Okay, so as you can see, hopefully you can see in the video, pretty big gap here. That's because the minor adjustment set screw is against the frame. So I'm not taking anything off there whatsoever of that piece of brass. But it's pushed it's pushed up all the way. The cutters are on the brass. So now that I have that set, this is basically set at what this piece of brass is for the length. So the cutter is set up for exactly for how long this piece of brass is. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to measure it. And if you do not know how to use calipers, then my last video will explain. I'm not going to go through it right now. This is at 1.7610. So the maximum specification for a piece of 223-556 brass is, according to the lineman manual, and I believe SAMI specs, is 1.760. I already measured these pieces of brass here before the video started, and I looked at my logs from last time I reloaded this brass, and I already know that I am going to set the trimmer up at 1.530. If I can get it there. 0.530. And then I am going to lock it. And then I am going to turn it off. Okay. This piece of brass does not fit in here, obviously. I'm going to run this in. I usually tighten this down and fit in the pilot. That way it's exactly centered. Go to a minor adjustment. And I just happened to adjust this where it was interfering with the handle, which is a stupid move, but we'll deal with it right now. So I need to go quite a bit. So I am going to run this out, this minor set screw out, which will engage the cutter one complete turn. And then kind of half-ass tighten this set screw up. And take some material off. And that looked like quite a bit. Oh, I didn't go too far. Oh, I did. I went way too far. That is junk brass. That is what you do not want to do. So let's try this again. Let's put this in. And I'm going to redo this whole thing here. I'm going to loosen that major adjustment, loosen the minor, run that set screw back out, get it against the brass, make sure the minor adjustment is clear of the handle this time. Tighten the major. Okay, that should be exactly the length of the brass. And again, as I turn this, the only friction that is happening is this set screw on this frame. So now I'm going to loosen the minor set screw, and I'm going to go a quarter turn this time. One quarter turn that way. Okay. Take the minor up. Take a little bit of material off. Run it out. And she looks good. So, now that that is good, actually, you know what? It is a little bit too short. So, we'll go back and run this out. We're going to loosen that up first. Run it out just a tad, eighth. Give this a half-ass snug. Try another one. Oh yeah. There we go. That is good. So once you get this thing set up, find that minor adjustment, crank that down, and then you can really start going, get this done. Measure the next one, fits in there, good. Now that I've done 2 or 3, I do about anywhere from like 7 to 10, somewhere in there. Because I'm assuming that this piece of equipment is I'm fairly confident in the design of this thing, and I know that it's consistently trimming these every single time. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So one thing I'm going to say is, if you've watched all of my videos, is that, especially the introduction video, I talk about being in the IT field. I am not out using tools every day. I'm not out, framing in houses, things like that. So it's pretty pathetic, but I have girl hands. So they're not all calloused up like real men's hands should be. But when I run this thing through a couple hundred rounds, you could see that I was holding it like this as I ran it, because the very first time that I ran through this with a few hundred rounds, I don't know how I was holding it, maybe like this or whatever, but I had a huge blister on my hand. It's pathetic, but just want to give you a heads up on that. What I really wanted is to have this handle come off and Forrester make some type of adapter that goes on the end of this rod here. That way I could somehow attach and run this drill to turn, and then it'd be completely hands off. But it's not a huge deal to run this, and I would think that maybe you'd lose some consistency by using a drill. I don't know. I guess it's always better to use manual method here and not speed things up too fast where things might get out of whack. So that's it. That's the Forrester Products trimmer, and I love it. Good job, Forrester. And I will in the next video, maybe one or two more videos, and this will be the end of part 3. And you will have your probably just one more video, and you will have a piece of brass ready to go for filling it with powder and seating it, and then the series is going to be basically done. So hopefully you watch the rest of my series. And again, this trimmer links will be at the end of this post if you're watching on YouTube, and a link will be at the end of my blog posting if you decide that you want to purchase this. Appreciate you watching this video, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you.